Steve here, and today we are going to be working on the Tundra, replacing the valve cover gaskets. I already did the passenger side yesterday. Now we're going to work on the driver's side. This side here, we took off the cover here, plastic cover, disconnected the airline here from here and here, undid this hose, that one and this one here, and then the MAF connection, and just pulled this whole apparatus out of the way, and then disconnected these little clips here. Tucked them all up in here, and that gave me good easy access. It's a little tight underneath this guy here, and then in behind the power steering reservoir, that hose there got in the way, but just pressed it out of the way. I wasn't interested in taking all that off. And yeah, went pretty smoothly. So let's go on to the other side, and we'll get going on this. So I'm in one of the barns here on the property because it is supposed to pour rain later today, and I don't want to be in the middle of doing this and that happens. So this side is pretty simple compared to the 4Runner, the 07 4Runner. We did that one recently. What a hassle. So much stuff on the top of the engine to get out of the way. This side looks like it's going to be almost as easy as the other side. We've just got some of these hoses here in the way, but that's about it. We don't have the airbox, so that's good. I imagine this is going to come off as well, like it did on the other side. So we'll get that while I do these clips here, and then get access to these 10mm bolts that are all around it. And I've got all the stuff that I think I'm going to need in the back of the truck. Got a new gasket. I just went to Rock Auto, I think I got this from, a little Felpro, I believe. And got our torque wrench. This is for popping the little clips back in. You'll see, get access to some little 10mm bolt here to get access to some of the deals. I like to have that. Oops. Obviously there's some metal springs in there. We've got some FIPG formed in place gasket right from Toyota. It's like 20 bucks a tube, so not inexpensive, but should be useful. We use that. This is to put the rings back in. There's our gasket down there, and then I believe, oh, did I leave them in the garage? I think I did. Yeah, we're gonna replace these guys here, these little metal grommet suckers. I have actually a bag of them back in the garage. Let me go get those, and then we were ready to go. Actually, they're right there. So these are the new ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8, 9. Okay, good. Let's go. Remember how to put these all back together again. Be able to wiggle that out of there. Slide it underneath those. Let's see. Okay, we can always try and get that off later then. So pop these guys off. Connectors, or I'm sure there's another name for them. Coil, spark plug coil. Okay, so that's good. These up out of the way. They're all different lengths, so it's going to be pretty hard to mess them up. So I don't have to number them or anything. But I don't want them in my way. So let's get them out of the way. There we go. It's pretty dirty actually for some reason. I don't know. What is that? It smells oily. Probably use this on that impact driver, but this is going to be okay. Yeah, these are pretty oily underneath, and when I undid the passenger side, I think 2 of the 4 on the bottom side that were holding the gasket cover on were pretty loose. They didn't feel like they were tight at all, which makes sense. I'm guessing the gasket, as it dries out over time, doesn't put enough pressure on the bolts, so it makes sense that they would be not tight anymore. And we got them torqued back up though. It says 9 foot-pounds or 106 inch-pounds. So I replaced these spark plugs a little while ago, or actually I checked them. I didn't replace them because they look fine. Because when I got the truck back in December, maintenance on it had been pretty good, so put them back in the same order. Okay, so that's good. And looks good in there. Okay. So let's take these dudes off. That one's a little tricky and behind this hose port. Should be able to get it down. Is that turning? Oh, it is. Dude, that's not even tight at all. That's crazy. Interesting. Yeah, and that's super loose as well, that one. Yeah, that's pretty loose too. I'm thinking it's just the gasket dried out over the years and wasn't doing its job sealing anymore, and then that had less tension on the whole valve cover, and that allowed it to just get so loose, I'm guessing. Here on the top. That's not even tight either. Goodness gracious, that's just like finger tight. Nuts. See, I wonder why it was leaking. Goodness. Okay. These look like not tight either. Gosh. Cute little white guy. Okay. Yeah, this one was all loose as well. This is all undone, pretty sure. That should just pop off. Yeah. Try not to get any crud in there. Like that oil filler line, dipstick line, maybe in the way. I'm trying to anticipate how much of a pain in the butt it's going to be to put this back in with that oil line in there. Should be okay. So, this is a lot dirtier inside than the other side. However, not terrible. Okay, so let's clean up the edge of this whole deal here. I'm going to get a couple of rags and stick them in there. So I got a rag in there, clean everything up a bit. Let's get you a better view. There we go. Okay, pull out those 1/2 moon doohickeys over here, and then we can clean up the whole surface of this thing. It has a little bit of a gasket material on it. I'll put back in when we're here. I think I've got them all up in Colorado, so I'm just gonna dig all this stuff out of here with this knife. We've got some of the FIPG gasket material up on the top and bottom front edge here. It's just a bit of gunk that we want to get rid of. And just gonna gently scrape all this off and push it up over the top of the valve cover here. So I just got some parts cleaner here. I'm gonna spray that on. Clean the surface off wherever we're gonna have that gasket going down into it. Stuff. Okay, so let's go clean that cover now. So here's what we're looking like in here. In case you couldn't see that before. So got a nice clear, clean thing, and there's the little half moon sections down there. We get those pretty clean. And so now let's go get this thing ready for reinstallation. This is going to be a bit of a process. That off. Now these guys here, just keep note of how they go in, because the inside ring is facing down into the engine like that. So you want to have the smooth part facing up. So the spark plug cylinder that it drops into slides up through this hole here and seals itself out. These are going to be pretty tough, I would think. So what I used before, I got like a screwdriver and a pair of pliers, and I just sort of pried open these guys, and then just pried these guys open. Tried to just do 3, but I couldn't really get it to sit in properly on the other side with 3, so. So I'm going to clean out this channel here. Both pop these out, get everything out of there first. You have to lift them a bit with the back here. There we go, that might work. So minimal impact. So there's the top. That's going to face right into the engine, and then this side is going to face out, and this spark plug cylinder is going to like shoot up through that. So spark plug cylinder, whatever it's called. Well, there we go. Okay. So those are out. Spray this. I'm gonna clean my hands first. So on this kit here, these look a little different than the whatever was in there before. So this is going to go facing the inside because the spark plug cylinder tubey thing is going to come up through that. So place those in. Looks like I'm going to have to move that out a little bit. I'll make sure that you've got lots of clearance for those to slide in and not be impacted by this one. Gasket down. Okay, I think that's good. Making sure it's all settled, level. Go further though. So that looks good. So now, I'll just take a bolt head here and I'm just going to tap these tabs back down on top of that spring. Just hold it in place. There we go. So that's all I'm doing with that. But guys, there we go. We're all set. I'll wipe this down again. But pretty happy with the way they went in. Okay, now let's clear off these guys because they were a mess. Going to be the inside, and there's those ridges that left the gasket material on the inside of those little crescent cutouts on the back edge of the valve cover. I'll hit that with some parts cleaner and that'll clean that up nice. Okay. Okay, cool. Wipe this down one more time. Okay, so now let's get that gasket back on there. So let's change these out. So because you've got limited time once you start putting that FIPG gasket material in place. I think it says like within 15 minutes you want to have it all put back together again because it'll start setting up on you. So you want to make sure that's not waiting for too long. Let me clean my hands again. This cover I'm working on is just my rooftop tent cover for the Forerunner because the birds were crapping all over it. So, looks like it got pretty dusty though. Actually, let's take these, keep them in there. These go on a lot easier. So if you're getting the gaskets, apparently you want to make sure you get new grommets as well, because obviously these little rubber bushings are going to compress down too, like the gasket would. Okay. So we are set there. Now what we want to do, I'll bring this back over to the engine. There's a couple of spots here where we want to put that FIPG form in place gasket. We want to put some up in this corner here and down in this bottom corner, down in here. And then obviously we're going to put them on those half moons that we're going to put back into these little crescent cutouts for them. So let me just check one more time, make sure that's nice and clean. My hands aren't full of gunk. Making sure there's nothing gonna hold it up. It feels good. Okay. And hopefully that doesn't get in the way. This is gonna get in the way. Actually, let's take that out so it's less intrusive. That's not gonna work. Okay. There we go. Okay. Let's get this camera set up and then I'll get her in. So, with this gasket material, I'm just going to put a glob on this top corner. And in the bottom corner. I'm guessing they want it there just because it's such a sharp corner. They want to make sure it's sealed properly. Probably with the size of a dime, I'm guessing. Or nickel. Probably nickel. Not quite a quarter. These ones. Just putting a healthy dose on that. Remember, you want to have the right side on the inside, so that little. And this one will be kind of an amber color. I'm just making sure that it's kind of level top to bottom for the most part. I'm sure when you put the gasket on, it'll smooth it out. Not too concerned if this smushes out a whole lot, but I don't think you'd need any more than that on. That's probably pretty good. Okay, so I'm just pushing down on each side of it, making sure that it's flush on both ends. So there's where all the FIPG needs to be. And then this gasket, I'm just holding that in place as I'm pushing this back in. Whoop. Just making sure it's the right way. Okay, we just slide this in like that. And then I'm just pushing this down over those spark plug tubes. There we go. You can just see how it's set down onto the tubes. Tubes have pushed through the blue rings. Okay, now with all that done, I can start bolting these guys back in. I'm going to go, obviously, there's a crisscross pattern, so just start wherever I can access it. I'm just going to hand tighten them initially, and then I'll start crisscrossing once they've tightened up a bit. Okay, here we go. Okay, now let's get this going.
I'll start there. Oh yeah, 109 pounds.
So, let's get these coils back on. Okay, yeah, I'm done with those. And then this goes on here. Under there. Number 1, number 3, number 5, and number 7. Okay, now this goes over here. This back on. I lost the bolts for that yesterday because I wasn't paying attention. I'll have to find some for that.